G'day, Matt and Zach here from Care Physio. This is video number 1 of 4 we're going to be doing this month, centering around pain.
Yeah.
And the big reason for that is this is National Pain Awareness Month. September is. It's the first time I think that we've brought it over to, or it's been brought over to Australia. It started over in America. We do have a National Pain Week here in Australia, but we're kind of expanding it out because it's a pretty important topic. And there's a lot more to it than what it might appear on the surface as well.
Absolutely.
So video number 1 today, we're going to have a chat generally about how pain works, what it is that our body considers to allow us to experience pain. Video number 2 will then talk a little bit more about when does this pain become unhelpful. Number 3 will cover the slightly prickly topic of is pain really in your brain? More of that to come later. And number 4 will be, well, how can physio help with pain after all the information that we've given you? So before we do start, I think the one takeaway point from the video today is that we want to explain to you that your pain or a pain experience is the result of consideration of a whole bunch of different inputs into your brain. There's no one thing that's sent from your body to your brain that says our pain, our pain, our pain. There's a consideration of a whole bunch of different things that we then decide whether there is a need for protection, and your body's best way to protect you is to make things hurt because you generally stop doing whatever it is at that point. Okay. So I think, Zach, if you want to just sort of talk a little bit about the senses and different bits and pieces, we'll go from there.
Yeah, for sure. So we're talking about sensors, not senses, like taste, touch, and that sort of stuff. So in your body, you've got a heap of different inputs that your body can kind of register and recognize. So you've got pressure or mechanical, you've got thermal, you've got chemical, and then something else that we call a nociceptor or nociception, which is just a fancy way of saying like a danger or a threatened receptor.
Yeah, almost like a gain knob, isn't it?
Exactly.
So we get that input from mechanical, thermal, chemical, and then we have this sort of other knob that says, more or less danger to apply to everything else that's coming in as well.
It's a great way of just saying, I want you to pay attention to this stimulus that you're feeling. So whatever happens to us, whether it's putting our hand on a hot stove or, bumping and falling over, you stimulate the appropriate receptor, whether it's that thermal or chemical or pressure, and that nociception. So all of that information goes up into your brainstem, from your brainstem into your brain, and then into a heap of different areas that we're not going to get into in this video. But essentially what happens is your central nervous system and your brain decide together whether it's threatening to you or not. So whether you feel pain as an output or pain as a response. So, and that's a really big thing that we explain a lot to patients, is that you don't have a specific pain nerve or a pain receptor. It's that collective input, and pain is the output, and it's meant to protect us. It's meant to keep us safe from hurting ourselves in the future.
Yeah. And I think it's important too to recognize that pain experience is not just even those messages coming in from all these different senses and that nociception or that danger signal as well. There's a whole nother side of the story in terms of the context of the situation. So what we've been taught, what we've experienced before in life, all of those things are stored in our brain, and they all come into the mix as well. From in the example of putting your hand on a hot plate, from a young age, we've been taught, put your hand on a hot plate, it's going to burn, it's going to hurt. We've probably all done it at some point accidentally, and again, our experience teaches us that should hurt. So even as soon as we see the hand on the hot plate, we're expecting pain,
Definitely.
aren't we? And I think I told a little story a while back in clinic. I had this really interesting experience where I pressed down on a cold piece of steak while it was on a hot plate. And because there was such a high level of sensation coming in from the thermal sensors telling me it was cold in this situation, but because I was taught to think that hand on a hot plate is going to hurt, and it was my expectation, I actually felt burning, not cold.
Yeah.
And it really shocked me, and I know this stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah,
it is,
for sure.
Yeah, it's a group of all of those different things. It's all of those different senses come in. It's the level of danger or the level of nociception into the brain. It's the context. It's what you remember. It's what you've experienced. your brain puts that all into one big soup pot, mixes it around, and says, do you need protection or not? Am I worried about this or not right now, right here?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay? If it says yes, we will generally experience some level of pain.
For sure.
Okay? If it says no, we're generally pretty comfortable.
Yeah, usually it's a bit of an ache or a bit of a twinge, and you can walk it off, and you're fine. And the where we get stuck is when it kind of shifts from being that, you know, acute, oh, I've rolled my ankle, there's a bit of swelling, you know, you can expect a bit of pain, to like, you know, I keep rolling my ankle and it's really sore, but all I did was step up a step, and I've got all this pain and I can't seem to find the reason why I'm experiencing so much pain. And we're going to get into all of that in next video.
So stay tuned and we'll see you soon.